Okay, so today we'll be working on how to do a lower thirds. So first things first, you want to open up your Photoshop application right here. So once you open up your Photoshop, you should have downloaded your interview PNG already. So we're going to go File, Open, and just search it up, interview PNG. Once it's open, you should have a layers panel open right here on the right side. And if it's not open, just go to Windows, Layers. And you want to make sure that auto select is on and show transform controls. That way it can make your layers be more easier to be adjusted. So first things first, we want to create our bars for our lower thirds. And by creating our bars, it's using this tools presets. And if you don't have your tools presets, go to Windows tools. So quick, easy commands you could do is Command plus and minus to zoom in and out, and Command Z will be to undo. So I'm going to zoom out. So we're going to start using our shapes. You could use, if you click and drag on the rectangles on your tools, you can see there's a rectangle tool, rounded rectangle, ellipse tool, etc. And you could also use a pen tool to be more creative and have your own shape. Today I'll be using the rectangle tool. So I'm just gonna set a rectangle right here. And as you see, when I make a rectangle, it appears on my layers panel. So you remember you are working in layers, and whatever you put on top of your layer will be on top of the previous layer. So we're just gonna leave this white for now. And we are also gonna make another rectangle. So we're just gonna make a skinnier rectangle right here. So you can be creative and use many different shapes. I will use that afterwards. So one of the key components you do need to use is the use of a gradient. To apply a gradient onto your shape, you want to go to the selected shape, so on the layer, so which is rectangle 1, and rectangle 2 is the second rectangle, a skinnier rectangle. You want to go to rectangle 2. By double clicking on it, your layer style panel appears. Just go to gradients. I already created this gradient, but if you click on the gradient toolbar, there will be different type of gradients. So I'm going to use the Maui High colors using a 2 gradient. I'm going to do a dark blue and a lighter blue. And you can always adjust how much of you want just by moving this widget right here. So I'm going to use this type of blue, and I'm also going to use this white because my highest colors are white. So once you have your rectangular shape, you can use your text tool to apply the text. So I'm going to apply the text right here, and here's your fonts to change the size of your fonts. And here is your text sizes. So I'm just going to type name. And to change the font, you want to highlight the whole thing. And I'm going to use Bebas. You want to make sure when you're changing stuff, you are on the selected layer. So that's why I always put auto select. And when you're resizing, you want to make sure you're holding shift and you click and drag. Same thing with text. To change the color of the text, you can easily do that by double clicking on the layer style. You want to check the color overlay box. You want to click on the plus sign, and there's just going to be this color box, and you can change your colors from there. You also need to put Maui High School on the bottom. So you'll be using your text tool again, a separate text tool layer. So when I made another text tool layer, it made another text. So as you can see, this is under name, and I'm gonna type Maui High School Seniors 2018. You want to use the arrow tool to move your layers around, just like that. And if you do mess up, just press Command Z, Control Z, or Command Z to go to undo. So I'm going to change this My High Seniors font by highlighting the whole thing, and I'm making sure on my text layer. And I will go to Excel. So same thing, if you want to resize it, you can either highlight the whole text and change it from here, from the drop-down menu. I usually just click on the layer and grab one of the corners and click and drag. So yeah, what I do to make it more pop, I add a drop shadow. So to do a group drop shadow, I just shift click on all the layers I want to add a drop shadow on, which is the blue bar, the white bar, and even the black text. So I usually just Command G to group, and I double click for a layer style again, and I add a drop shadow. And then you want to play around with the drop shadows. So there is a basic lower thirds. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to continue to do this on my own style, and make it more complicated. There you have it, my lower thirds tutorial.